All right. We are once again finding ourselves waltzing into the finals of another Olimoleague. But thank the Lord Jesus Christ, or whatever entity that governs you,
The Holy Spirit.
because we do not. The pasta spaghetti monster up in the sky. We have a not ZVZ finals. This is phenomenal because of not only the amount of Zergs that were signed up for this, but also the fact that we've just, between the Olimoleague, Corsair Cups, and everything else, had ZVZ nonstop. Relentless ZVZs, no less. But this is going to be really interesting. I think these two players are well matched for one another, and I hope you guys are ready to buckle in and enjoy this best of 7 special here for the finals. $350 lies in first place, a mere 200 or so for second. Still a decent amount of money, but of course everyone wants that first place prize. Spawning in the bottom left side of Invader. This map is still broken, by the way. We'll discuss that more in a moment. It is going to be Root Gaming's Hydra.
In the top left, as the red Terran, he's reality.
Now, I believe it was initially just the one base up here that was broken, but supposedly with the changes, the bottom right one broke too, which leads me to just think all the gold bases are perhaps broken now in this map.
I don't understand how you switch one switch and it breaks something else.
There's probably about a million. It's like that whole thing with code, right? There's a guy who deleted his whole company with like one misaligned piece of code. Like, the editor is probably gonna have some finicky stuff like that. I just find it insanely frustrating. And Nathaniel's voiced this. We even had Scion reply to it, and Scion gave a very well worded, very reasonable response. So I'm not like upset at the ignorance of Blizzard or anything, but it is frustrating knowing that there's map makers out there who they submit the maps and Blizzard basically says, this map looks great. You made this? Well, we made this, and now we're putting it on ladder. And then the map maker doesn't get any say beyond that. They can try to influence it and make suggestions, but Blizzard will listen at their own accord. And Invader is a map that's had inherently a lot of problems with it. And the guy who made it, Avex, is a very talented map maker who has since fixed it in many different ways. He got a lot of feedback from pros. He adjusted the map accordingly. But rather than fix it, Blizzard's just continued to break the map.
You know, like, what's up? You know, one day they at least acknowledge that it's a problem. I just wish they'd be a little quicker about fixing it.
Yeah. Let's pick up on that SCV, by the way. So that one thing in the middle of the map barely doesn't kill the Marine, but the other one gets a very important kill on that SCV, selling out the command center.
Very annoying. Just a little bit of a supply block. No, actually not for reality.
One point I want to say, sorry, before we get off of that Blizzard topic, is I just want to remind people, though, because it's so easy to get caught up in the negativity of, like, fucking Blizzard, right? Like, I'm the first person to be on that salt train. But they are about 1,000,000 times better today about not just community interaction, but everything at all related to StarCraft than they were, like, last year. Even during the open beta start, like, I got credit where it's due. Blizzard's, granted, maybe not up to everyone's standards of what they'd like to see, but they are so much better nowadays than they were before.
Yes, that is definitely true. And Hydra's been prepping for this attack for a while. They had the Roach Warren thrown down earlier, and unfortunately the Reaper, which would have scouted that, had to come back because of that one stupid Ling that got past his Marine and killed his SCV. So he was not anticipating this. He does not have a bunker, obviously. Now, luckily there weren't too many SCVs.
Oh, the Widow Mine on the wrong side of this gets caught immediately.
Yeah, there's no SCVs to kill the natural, so Hydra's not even bothering, though, which I think is pretty key. But you're right, like, the one wrong Widow Mine, the other one doesn't even get that good of a shot. Now, I don't think Hydra will be able to... Well, no, wait a minute. There's actually not much coming out here. There's Hellions and a Banshee. I thought the Liberator... I thought a Liberator's almost out, which would survive 2 Ravager shots.
So, Ravagers are actually pretty squishy, and the SCV surround won't be too bad for them.
The Banshee, it would definitely clean this up, but it's stealing so much damage for the Banshee's out.
Right, and it's not like you can exactly run in circles waiting for that Banshee, because she'll still take time to actually kill everything. So, Reality makes a really tough choice, and it leaves him with 7 SCVs. I think Hydra's just won game number
I think
1.
he has, yeah. Okay, he's not even gonna try. I was gonna say, maybe you try and kill a bunch of drones with a Banshee, but...
I mean, like, you can make the argument if there's a 3rd CC down, maybe, because of mules, but not 2 CC, not with less than 10 workers. So, game number 1 is going to very quickly go in the favor of Hydra, which is great to see, because even in the context of these two being pretty well matched for one another, I still think I favor Reality ever so slightly, but Hydra comes out of the gate swinging. No question about it.
It's like, ain't taking none of your shit. Invader's my map.
Well, we'll see what the map selection for game 2 is. It is, of course, going to be Hydra's pick. Or, sorry, Reality's pick. Excuse
I was
me.
going to say. It's Orona.
All right. This is a map that I could actually see. What I love about knowing for Hydra is he's this player now. He wasn't always like this, right? But he is now a player who not just has really great macro, but he can be cheesy. He can do things like the Overlord drops or the fast 3 Ravagers across the map, classically, as we've seen on Orona. So we'll see which direction he decides to take it. I think I would be most taken back as if he just did like 3 hatch, super greedy passive play.
Mm.
But that might be the mind games, man.
Same thing could be said for Reality. He did go for 3 base last time we saw him on this map, but still did a very nasty tank push against Scarlet. Okay, and they're ready.
All right. Well, we'll hop into the game then. Map number 2 of this best of 7 finals coming up. We'll see you guys in just a moment. All right, folks, welcome back to the Olimoleague. I forgot to advertise it in the first game, so we're going to quickly do that drop here. Patreon.com/Olimoleague. Check it out. Even if you don't actually have any plans to give this tournament a single cent, it's still cool to check out, because what Olivia does that I have the most respect for is she outlines all the spending. So even if you don't plan to get your money involved, you can get a good look at what it costs to run a tournament. And she shows, you know, exactly how much is going towards admin fees, how much we actually get paid for this too, which is awesome. Not a lot, but you know, we get a couple of bucks for casting the Olimoleague. But most importantly, shows how much is required for each weekly to increase in value, the monthly finals to increase in value. Like, it's pretty awesome. So again, patreon.com/Olimoleague. And if you're willing, if you're feeling generous enough, you can help grow this tournament to an even bigger prize pool, and hopefully start attracting some of the bigger name players in Korea. But in the bottom left side of Orona, we've got the Yellow Zerg player up 1-0 currently, Root Gaming's Hydra.
In the top left, as the Red Terran, it's Reality.
Now,
Nice.
if Hydra, like we're talking ifs for a moment, if Hydra's going to go for the Queen drop on this map,
Okay.
it will be interesting to see how Reality reacts to it. I think it's without question Polt seems to have the best answer with that Widowmine on the cliff and, you know, picking off an Overlord before it even drops. Like, that without question has shut this down in 100% of the times we've seen him face against that. But it's still a build that beats Terran players more often than not, and really good Terran players as well. But we don't need to worry about that, because it is going to be the Roaches.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I don't have to worry about it, but I am not so convinced as to its power versus Terran anymore. I think it's still like something you throw against Protoss and they're just like, oh, what a surprise. But against Terran, I feel like it has become something that is standard opener, deals with it as long as you don't miss micro, which is the tank opener, which is, I think, what Reality is doing. Now, I mentioned that Reality went for a 3rd CC on this map, so he's not all about that 2-base tank push, but he is still, of course, tank pushing. That's just what this map is going to be good for. And it's going to be very funny to see if it is that exact same game as the one versus Scarlet, because we'll see if Hydra can respond better. And recall Reality saw an opportunity and he pounced on it, like literally, like stimmed as soon as he saw that she wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Is the same thing going to happen to Hydra, but it's not the exact same type of game, as Hydra doesn't just go for 3 Ravagers, he actually goes for a lot of Roaches. This is actually a lot more all-in, a lot more dedicated than what Scarlet did, but it should also deal a lot more damage.
So, if... This is no bunker, I think is one of the biggest differences. It's at the top of the ramp over here, but Reality did have that buying time in his natural, so unlike the series that we saw earlier this morning versus Scarlet, he's not going to have safe mining behind this, and that bunker might not even complete.
This is a problem. He needs that tank out, and well, not just the tank, he also needs the medevac, because as long as these Roaches and a couple of Ravagers can chase the tank, even if it's unsieged, it's going to have a tough time staying alive.
Killing that reactor would be pretty nasty. Not just because, you know, it cuts out the reactor, but the reactor is like the longest building add-on. It has that gas requirement that's so heavy and nasty. Not going to go for the reactor, though. Just breaks down the depot, decides to walk in. Problem is, though, for Hydra, I don't know that this is going to get the damage he wants it to. The tank is trying to survive to the medevac.
Yeah.
That's a nice pick-off, but Marines and SCVs pulled can easily deal with 3 Roaches and a Ravager. But Hydra, it's worth noting, has droned behind this. Oh, nice pickup, Micro. Ooh, this is sexy, Reality. Keep this up.
Ooh.
But yeah, Hydra into droning behind this. So he really was not too dedicated. it got some damage in. It certainly spooked Reality into a lot of different reactions, but none of which I think screwed him here. He is down workers, though. That sucks, and the natural base is taking a while to get mining because he's supply blocked from that depot going down. Ooh, has to drop supply even. That's something you want to have to do, but in this situation, I think is like appropriate.
Yeah, it really does suck too because it's on the ramp, like the one that's gonna go down. But did Hydra do enough damage at 6 total workers killed? I don't know. I think what was really important was that he did get the tank. If he only kills 6 workers plus doesn't get the tank, like just barely, then I'm a lot more worried because that tank count, you know, it's what determines when and how powerful Reality's push is going to be. 2 tanks can be very different from 3 tanks and so on and so forth, you know. So I put Hydra in like an okay spot.
Well, there's that, and the tank is a lot harder to clean up than this Marine job.
Yeah. Now another tank is popped out, right? So he could swap it, but I don't think he is. Liberator in the main base actually gets denied by a Spore Crawler, so nicely done by Hydra to anticipate that. Now I was going to bring up that, okay, so he's in a fine position now, although he has fallen once again in drones because he's making lings. I was going to bring up, you know, there's a lack of a lair. The mutas can really help out against this tank push because you can snipe the tanks and snipe the medevacs, but to actually get to a spire takes a very long time. So instead, I guess he just wanted to get a moderate amount of units to defend against this push. Goes back into droning, is going to try to play out a macro game, but one that I feel Reality is going to have a better time with. I mean, Reality's third is already turning into an orbital here. Could just produce 3 SCVs at a time, or could actually send it off to the third base. Hydra, I don't think his follow-up was wrong, but it is maybe looking more and more like that attack in the beginning didn't do enough damage.
Well, Ling's going to dart over here, unfortunately, despite the dedication to units in the middle of the map. Not going to find Reality without defenses. But Reality's push in the middle of the map is a bit awkward because he's not getting a lot for it, per se. Like, he's picking up Creep Tumor, he kills a couple of Lings, but really isn't pushing into anything, you know, imperative. Lair does start, and it's about halfway finished right now, so this will be kind of nice to see that next level of attack. Whether it's Aspire to deal with the Liberators, or whether it's just Roach Speed, I mean, either way.
I think it's too late to go for Aspire, but I guess the question is it ever too late? Like, well, mutas, Corruptors can always be very useful.
I think Corruptors would be interesting to add in. They don't need upgrades, but the investment in ranged weapon upgrades, I don't think that was the direction we were heading anyways.
Yeah. The thing is that, like, he's definitely not going to go for one, but to just not have anything to deal with medevac drops, whether it's for the tanks and the medevacs or whether it's for actual drops into your main base, is obviously going to be very difficult. I mean, Roach Ravager, it can work on this map. It's actually the only thing that really does, in my opinion. I don't like Needling playing on this map, but it can, of course, have that one big weakness of just not being able to deal with drops. Now, the good news is that Hydra, while it took him a while to get to this nice drone count at almost 70, he does have a fine enough army. Oh, maybe not.
Not all here, though, is the problem. Like, 10 roaches in production.
Here.
Wow! What the?
Okay, well, the army supply wasn't that bad, I thought, but he quickly just pounced once again on a Zerg player through the middle of the choke and wins. So, okay, that's how it goes.
Yeah, okay, well, 2-0 now for sorry, not 2-0, excuse me, 1-1.
1-1.
1-1, yes, I had the wrong player who won. Not on the overlay, thank God, but in my head. Anyways, 1-1 being the score. We're going to go to a small break while we get to game number 3, and we'll see you guys on Hydra's map pick for this next one. All right, we're back in game number 3 for this best of 7, but for those who don't know what that means, the math is too tough because it is 420 for you. It is the first player to 4 games wins. So, off to a pretty even start. Both players tied it up now 1-1 here in the Olimoleague monthly finals. $350 for first place, $200 for second is what they're battling for. And in the upper right side of Dusk Towers, we've got the Yellow Zerg player, Root Gaming's Hydra.
In the bottom left, as the Red Terran, it's Reality.
I love this pun in chat, by the way, that Hydra got steamrolled.
Well, that would be the second time that Reality steamrolled. a Zerg on that map.
It really didn't feel like that was going to be the case. I mean, there was so many roaches on the way, but that timing, again, for reality, it's like a bit of a gamble to go in so quickly with such a small amount of units, but, I mean, it freaking paid off. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that was, once again, before 1-1 was done, I was going to go into how the upgrades, oddly enough, were even, which could be like a bad or a good thing depending on what side you were cheering for. You know, Hydra would have loved to have been hitting a faster upgrade timing with roaches, which, you know, maybe he was going for by building those roaches. But then reality, when you consider they got a third CC so quickly, I thought his upgrades would have been even faster. But regardless, he attacked without them and it still worked. And this is, again, a scenario where we're like, okay, well, that won't work on this map. Even if you do see your opponent without units because you scan ahead, stimming and winning should be taking you a lot longer on this map than on Orona, and Hydra should have a lot of time to actually get those roaches if he's going for roaches, or probably more likely get those banelings or whatever.
Well, when we saw reality on here earlier, we kind of asked, like, what do you do versus Scarlet, right? And for him, he just kind of bent over and took it because Scarlet had a hell of a lot of workers to work with, but this is something where, again, for Hydra, I'm really curious what his late game is going to look like, because we've seen from reality already, it's more emphasis on Marauders and things, and I really don't think that was so reactionary to Scarlet's banelings, but I really think what'll be interesting is if reality is going to be forced into something as Hydra goes fast ultras, or if this ends up being that trade in the middle of the map for banelings versus Marines versus Widow Mines for the while. Shout out to Zermi, by the way, for the 4-month resub. That's weirdly buggy. The BaseTradeTV bot celebrated it like a good 4 minutes before he actually resubbed. I don't know what's up with that. But something to note is we do have fast Overlord speed coming down, so even if nothing else, it will at least provide some good scouting. But sometimes we'll see an odd drop or two, even if it's just like 1 or 2 units.
But yeah, more to the point, that really nice scouting, sees if it's a Liberator build, or in this case, a third CC build. In fact, reality, kind of doing the old school third CC build too, like not after a starport, but after your factory instead. There is a greedier version, but no one does that anymore.
It's one up with 2 racks, actually.
Yeah, not bothering to actually use the factory at all, or get to a starport. But this is... It's going to give you like the least scouting, the least control over the map, and it does put you in a problematic position if they scout it and decide to go for, like, you know, a baneling bust. But despite Hydra's quick overlord speed, he does see the third CC, but I don't know if he's going to go for a baneling bust. He does get an early baneling nest though. Like, Zergs for the most part are holding off on the baneling nest until after their lair is done. Actually, they're just, you know, they feel that confident. And what they scout, so hey, it's a lot of lings on the way.
It is 4.
Well, 12 just popped, so excuse you. Okay.
We got a really dank resub. I got a 420 graze it over, guys. Eat some grass. Tempo just resub for 29 months. What a day to resub on, my man. He says it's my favorite time of the month. Me too, buddy. Big love. Zombie Up, is it your favorite time of the month?
No. Anyway,
gonna make a note of this.
The mass amount of lings did. This is obviously going to be for a baneling bust. This is an appropriate reaction to scouting to the quick third CC, especially without Hellions.
But here's where it gets interesting, right? Because he chose not to go for the starport, and because he went for the extra production, he's going to actually have a lot behind this. So keep in mind, guys, like, it's going to take the 6 banelings to kill the wall. The Hellion may even soak up 1 or 2 of them. No, unfortunately not. But damn, that's a lot more banelings. I take this back. Because there's a bunker that's going to take another 6. There's 2 more bunkers down here. Like, reality really did start preparing for this. But this could still kill him. That's what's so scary about it. But oh my god, I didn't realize there's 4 extra bunkers.
Bunkers. I love this though. Like, we saw
works.
A similar tactic used against another Terran, and they built 1 bunker, and it was not enough.
Run the SUVs right through the bunkers.
Yeah, so now this is where production really should kick in, although reality is supply blocked right now, which kind of sucks.
How many did he actually lose there? Not much. That was so many lings. Like, it only shows 5 lost because that was what was killed. But don't forget, there was like another 11 that went into buildings and stuff, right? So this is actually really bad for Hydra.
Oh yeah.
Like, really, really bad for Hydra.
Terrible. But really nice events from reality. I was worried, but he scanned. He played a very safe game. So even though he didn't have Hellions to kite around, he had bunkers, which ended up being a lot more useful. So Hydra has to quickly try and repair the situation. He's quickly trying to get to a good drone count. Still not going to be there after these 10 drones. He's got to catch up on upgrades, which he's a full 1-1 behind. And of course, he has no answer to medevac drops, or medevacs in general, without a Spire, and that layer's only halfway done. Reality's ready for a push. You can go right now.
What I really liked about this, though, like, we went over it just now. I really want to go back one more time. The 4 bunkers down here is like so much, whatever, fine. But just getting bunkers in general, we see so many Terran players come into this with this, like, I don't know if it's like ego or like ignorance, but they're like, yeah, you know what, the deepest was soak enough, and I'll just like micro like a god behind it. No, that wasn't the case here. Reality just played this so friggin' smart. I'm not taking shots at Marine King for once, but yeah.
I feel like you're acting him out, though. Okay, so this is a very, very dangerous push. It's not with any Widow Mines, so the splits have to be here against the Banelings, but it's slow Banelings. Off of creep. There are those splits.
Oh my god, Reality, so sexy. He's got the 1-1, he's got the combat shields. These Marines live, some with 3 health, some with less. This was a scary fight for a Hydra, who's now really on the back burner for this. Again, upgrades favoring his opponent heavily. Speed still not done. Given enough time, these upgrades are all very close to finishing, but that being said, it's still going to be a tough fight leading into that. Reality goes just pick up and fly away too instead of trading out the Marines, but he does trade them out pretty damn effectively.
Yeah, he wanted to save that medevac. Oh, yep. She gone off the creep. Well done, Reality. So this game isn't over yet, obviously, but Hydra still has a couple of problems. Lack of upgrades and lack of Spire, which only just starts. Reality's second push could be the game-ending one. The only benefit Hydra will have at that point will be that Baneling speed. But he did just lose a lot of creep. Not all of it, but certainly a lot. And Reality could shift focus to the right side of the map at the 4th base. Looks like he's going for a double drop into the main, however. Yeah.
This drop, I think one of the biggest things for it is like, okay, there's a Spore Crawler, maybe a little bit scary there, but Hydra is really focused on this one. Now, he does finally realize the bigger threat and does respond to the main instead. In doing so, does give up a lot of power around this 4th, so it's... The Hydra might actually go down, I don't know. Loses 1 medevac worth of units. Still has a second medevac fully loaded, or almost fully loaded, excuse me, 7 units.
You know, Reality's going for those 4 Marauders again. Oh.
Whoa, why are we talking about this in chat? I was just asking if you enjoyed Tempo resubbing.
Because chat brought it up. They seemed like they wanted to know. You can blame them.
I feel like a gentleman never tells and a lady never asks, or what's the saying? Something like that for this particular topic. Oh, new sublord, Align Disser. Oh,
Lindisser.
Shit. I killed that hype pretty quick. Thank you for the new sub hype. You're in the finals. Awesome to have you on board.
So I was talking about the Marauders once again. So this couldn't possibly be because he thinks that it's a fast Ultra, right? Like.
Well, this might have to be with the heavy amount of Banelings you saw early. Oh, but then he eats him to the face with Marines, so I don't know what to say about that. Oh, leave the Marauders on. Pick everything up. Okay.
Pick up.
Lings do manage to get by into his own mineral line, but while they do a lot of damage with hold position, they don't actually get a lot of kills, so only in about 3 SCVs killed for that. Hydra, normally you could say Lings are very, expendable units, and it's not a big deal, but his army supply is like, well, was, for a moment, half that of Reality. He's got a little bit more going for him now, of course, but this is not a situation where Hydra, I think, finds Reality AFK clumped up in the middle of the map. Like, this is him fighting for his life, and even here, as we see, like, having to use Banelings on anything other than just Marines. Now, Widowmite gets a decent shot. The Marauders soak in those front lines as expected. Thank you. Definitely not real EG Hydra. Big surround coming in. Reality is sitting pretty nice, though. 2-2 upgrades for both players, so no one really in a lead in that regard. Supply just heavily here favoring Reality.
Though, Hydra, he's taking the best engagements that he could. I'm actually a little surprised he's doing so well. The mass amount of Marauders, too, they could have been susceptible to a Ling flood. Unfortunately, there just isn't any Lings left over from that, and more Marines are rallying forward. So, Hydra's still going to lose, as anticipated, but good fight. Good fight.
GG's. Reality will take a lead now in the series 2-1, so perhaps my misspeak earlier just became reality. Hello? Is this thing on? Test?
Yeah,
Hello?
it's on. We heard you hacking. Dear God.
All right. EG Hydra donates $5 and says, 420 blaze it. I'm drinking Mountain Dew and simultaneously smoking 6 marijuanas. Whilst inhaling an obscene amount of fresh Colombian cocaine off of InControl's ass crack, and we are all high on Molly. Get on my level, losers. I know it's a joke, but it's just so obnoxious to read that. Like, it hurts to read that message. But new sublert. Cello Chris.
Are you just stealing Daily Grace?
See, hello, Chris. Yeah, I said this like 2 casts ago.
Hello,
Said
Chris.
I don't care. I'm gonna steal it.
I thought you just meant for that one moment.
No, man, I love this. It's try saying it. It's fun. Like, it's just
No,
fun to
I
say.
know. It also gets
What?
not annoying. I love it.
No, are you stealing that sarcasm from Grace? Like, what's going on here? But anyways, hello, Cello Chris, man. How's it going? Thanks for subbing. We're going to be going to Frozen Temple in just a moment, guys. But waiting on the players to give us the go-ahead.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Yeah, that stream delay will constantly revive dead topics. That's the problem with stream delay. Or maybe benefit to some of you trolls out there. But anyways, we'll see you guys in a second, Frozen Temple. I feel bad for our mods. They've got quite the job today, with the day being what it is. Mr. Boris Makarov in chat says 420 is not an excuse to be asshats. I'm just saying. And then he's gonna hear that donation read out in just a moment. But okay, folks, we are in game number 4 here for the best of 7 finals. So still quite a bit away from actually being finished. It will require 2 more wins out of this guy if he wants to lock it down. In the top left side of Frozen Temple, we have the red Terran player, Reality.
In the bottom right, as the yellow Zerg, it's Root Hydra.
So can we talk about how OP Zerg is right off the bat? Look at that income. Gosh, golly, drones are good.
We've always known that.
Maybe that's where
They're
Blizzard needs to
smart.
nerf it. Drones need to mine less. 4 minerals. per
Remember when
trip.
everyone thought the lava problem would make Zerg bad?
Oh my god.
And then everyone thought that the lava problem would make Zerg good. Oh, that was the income problem. Sorry.
You know, the side of your hatchery which larva spawns is a pretty big frickin' deal, okay?
Oh yeah, that one, yeah, that. But seriously, like, when you consider how many people were crying like Doomsday back in the Legacy of the Void beta about, you know, and they were backing it up with some data. I know a couple of people actually did like the math on the larva injects and whatnot, but it evened out, and I just feel like that's like life. You know?
Are you on 420
420
right now? Jeez.
That's specifically. But seriously, like, everyone just calls doom and gloom, and oh no, StarCraft 2 is going to be the worst, and everything's going to be imbalanced, and the economy's going to mess everything up, and then everything's fine for the most part. I mean, obviously there's still imbalances, but it's not enjoyable TvZ. TvZ is still the best matchup, and that's the most important thing.
It is. And I also don't know about anyone else, but I just enjoy bitching. Like,
Oh, that's why you were all doom and gloom?
yeah.
I didn't really think you were doom and gloom, though.
I'm not. I'm more like extreme realism. It's just like WCS sucks for legitimate reasons, and here's why. And let's talk about those. Okay, the Reaper trying to get a bit of pokey poke here on the Lings. Not gonna get too much done though. I think one thing I'm expecting to see out of Frozen Temple is Reality's got to be planning around like 3 bases. You can take this to the extremes, and we've seen people try and split this map in some rarer instances, but I mean, the 4th base on this map is far more questionable than the 3rd, and even the 3rd is a little bit out there for both players. But I don't think this is the real EG in control, but EG in control allegedly donates $25 and says, tell Hydra to get on my ass crack. Sombriga, blue hair vote for me. Back to the weight room later, guys.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I think nowadays, though, like, if I was to like correct this donation, it'd be like back to Warhammer 40k. I'll see you dudes later. It controls actually. I'm so jelly of his models and stuff. Like, I haven't done Warhammer for years, but every time he tweets pictures of them or like his army or like when he's at those conventions, like I'm kind of like, I wish I could do that.
So luckily I never got that bug, so I'm actually like, what's so great about it? I don't understand. You're spending so much money. It's not worth it.
Oh, by the way, I didn't realize that. Yeah, he said blue hair vote. So that's going to put blue hair at 66. Yes, 25. Okay, 66. Still trailing
Great.
behind. White's at 114. Red's at 85. I don't think you're going to have any choice, though, because it feels like Ryomar is going to bust out his life savings to make sure your hair goes white at this rate. Because, like, all of white is pretty much Ryomar. I think there's, like, one other person who voted for white.
Well, that's his prerogative.
Mm.
I could call him like my patron, right? The patron of the arts.
So real quick note, while we got things starting to heat up, someone in chat's asking where can I find VODs of the Olimoleague. They've actually been uploaded really quickly more recently, and in a lot of instances, merely hours after the cast finishes to our YouTube channel. So once again, dropping that advertisement, youtube.com/BaseTradeTV.
Hey.
But more importantly, it's been set up in spoiler-free formats. There's playlists made, so if you aren't subbed here on the channel and can't access our VODs right away, check out our YouTube, because it's free.
Yeah. Okay, so Reality did a different build this game. So, I mean, last time he had to deal with Hydra's Baneling bust, obviously, but that was in reaction to what he did, which is a quick third CC. Here, I believe he did have faster stim, maybe by little bits. I don't know, he started it pretty quickly last time, too.
Ooh, this is a pretty cheeky spot. The Spore Caller can be moved to intercept, and this won't be so bad, but the Queens are looking like they want to take care of this.
Huh.
I'm not, again, very stubborn ladies, but it does push that back.
Yeah. Well, regardless of the stim, the third CC, by the way, uses a wall. Ew. Ew. Ew.
I'm not a fan of walling anything with the command center, but it will get the job done for the time being.
Yeah, it actually works, as opposed to the multiple other times we've seen this happen and they forgot that one little grid space.
It's like,
on the
okay,
backside.
I think I figured it out, right? Like, the command center, even though it's like an actual square grid, the corners of that grid don't actually count for anything. So, if you build a wall around a CC with that in mind, it's not a problem. But damn it, because it doesn't look like that when you're actually trying to build with it.
Yeah, it doesn't. But there's the third CC taken and the wall replaced. Combat shields will time up pretty nicely with 1-1, and the push should initiate as soon as he has enough Marines, basically, which he's only just recently got his reactors and his production up and ready to go.
Hellions did try and sneak around the bottom side, but the Lings quickly respond. So Hydra really hasn't taken really anything guff-wise from Reality. He dealt with the Liberator really effectively. He's constantly been thwarting this drop. I mean, Reality just really isn't getting anything done.
No, he's not, but it wasn't like he did a 2-base build. He did get a 3rd base pretty quickly, even if it was a little bit more delayed, and is now mining from it. So he's going to have to deal with mutas, which shouldn't be that much of a problem. The Liberators are in play, and as long as he gets a couple of missile turrets. He's building that diagonal wall that we see from at least a couple of different terrain. I'm just not sure if I like it.
So I will say, from at least shitty low end experience, I've actually, because I was doing this weird wall for a while, I've been having a lot more success just connecting it to the command center and having your army position more here. Like,
yeah, that's what I would think. Just, I mean, a bunker and a supply depot, diagonal supply depot, but I guess this really is peace of mind. Like, even if they have to make banelings to get through it, that is a big, like, potential loss to them if you do have something behind it. So, the wall is not done, however, and Lings just flood in. So there's a couple of Marines here, shouldn't be a big problem. And the push continues at the front, but Reality hopefully is paying attention. Won't get caught off guard by the banelings. Oh, he was caught off guard.
oh my god, are you serious? Where did that come from? I was watching thinking, like, okay, that's going to run out of range and that's going to go off on nothing. And I think Hydra was thinking similarly. But oh my god, not only did that level out a huge chunk of supply, took out the most important units possible with that Baneling. That Widowmine. That Widowmine that was worth every bit of Hellion Karma that didn't get any damage done.
This is some good Widowmine hits today. Reality's been lucky. Well, that only evened things up though, like, right? Like, he lost a lot of Marines in that main push to Banelings because I think he was distracted by that Ling run by. So to kill that many Banelings is kind of like revenge. The upgrades are pretty even, although Hydra will have a bit of a lead. He didn't really go for mutas at all. He went for corruptors, so either preempting Liberators, which is not a bad idea, or there were times where corruptors are just seen in general better because they could actually go over Marines and kill medevacs. But this is the problem. Like, once again, Reality's going for a lot of Marauders, which will provide a big wall for the Banelings to get through.
This, right?
I guess not. It's actually kind of hard to see in your minimap. Okay, sees it. But that's where like a high amount of mutants can snipe Marauders. They can, you know, when you start to split as the Terran.
Oh, he's caught off guard.
Oh dear God.
Fight's going down the middle of the map in the favor here of Reality, but he does compromise his natural base. Oh God, those depots are still down, leading to the main.
He loses 18 SCVs right off the bat, and that is pretty bad, even though the Lings don't really get on top of the production. Oh, there they go. Recognize an opportunity. So this is bad for two reasons. Losing SCVs, losing production, but also losing your focus on the main engagement. So no pressure can really be done to Hydra. And Hydra doesn't have to really necessarily like focus on defending, to be honest.
He slaughters the worker count. And I mean, this map's already hard enough for Terran to play expansions on. The fact that you lose this many SCVs, you could argue you don't need to replace a ton, because 36 for what is pretty much just two bases isn't that bad. But man, oh man, does that screw Reality out of playing macro? Like, now it's getting to the situation where he's not so out of the he's not out of the game. Like 36 SCVs is still playable, but this is like, okay, you gotta go now because you're gonna lose momentum the longer this game goes on, and there's no question about that.
Yeah. The momentum was the real problem, I would say, because if they don't have a defense set up and you are still like tearing through their creep and tearing through their third base, then like, okay, even Stevens, right? You kill our workers, I kill a base. But he had to entirely disengage from an attack. I think the most he got from it was just clearing up some creep, which he's not going to try and use. But the Marauders are really just acting as his only defense against mass amounts of Lings, but, you know, not if they're just counterattacking all the time.
That's so many Banelings morphing on the other side of the map. They may be able to deal with the Marauders. The Widowmines do get removed from the equation,
That's so many Banelings. This is where the Marauders are really going to shine.
Well, will
they're
they,
gonna tank.
I mean,
as long as he can split them into just the tiniest bits and actually make a wall with them.
Reality is screwed when it comes to anything behind this. Like, these are his last units he's going to have. He's doing really well with them, but the new flood of Lings might just finish off what little's left. His command center's burning. He's losing control at home. I think he knows this as well, so it is all focused on winning the game with this push.
Know.
Oh, he split off in the medevacs. Oh, please don't leave these units abandoned by the medevacs. The only medevacs nearby was almost out of energy. This is not a good sign.
All those Marauders being left alone, Lings who surround them, I mean, they're pretty low too, so Banelings will eventually kill them as well. They took out the Baneling nest though, so the same way this is the last reinforcement for Reality, these are going to be the last Banelings for Hydra, and I know he made some. There they are off to the left side, well within Reality's advanced notice, but the Lings, they killed the natural and they killed the third. You don't lift, bro. You don't lift.
Well, it lifts up some Marines, but I'm really feeling like this is falling flat. It's 2-2 for the Lings, so they can contest this. Marauders on the ramp are doing not too bad. I take this back, because he does actually hold that ramp, and he holds it strong.
The Lings can't get a full surround, and they weren't able to tear down such a high...
That is one of the few times you're going to see a Zerg player kill bases from Terran, but actually lose the game. Like, that was... Damn. Reality. 3-1 now, here in the series. That's going to send us off to a small commercial break, though, guys, as Hydra doesn't get a map pick. There's only one map left before they recycle. So, that being said, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. All right, folks, we are back, and it is game number 5 here in the Olimoleague Grand Finals. This could go for 2 more after if he can bring it back. In the bottom right side, go for a quick pull. It is going to be the Yellow Zerg Hydra.
In the bottom left, as the Red Terran, it's Reality.
Okay, so Reality is, of course, 1 win away from locking this whole tournament down. If he wins this one, then it's all over.
Mm-hmm. And what's funny is we've already had a couple of deja vu scenarios in this best of 7. With the best of 3, we cast a lot earlier. And Reality and Scarlet, so I'm feeling it again a little bit. This isn't with gas, which is the difference. So always Hydra like he had the roach push, but then he had more roaches than she did, and this time it's the same like early pool, but without the gas follow-up. So this should get an SCV kill on the command center. I don't think it'll cancel it though. That'd have to go like really poorly, and it shouldn't get many more kills beyond that, to be honest. Like, not the 8s that we saw earlier on this map.
Well, unlike the last time too,
Oh.
there wasn't an
Oh.
SCV scout. So
Yeah.
reality, kind of learning from past mistakes, will know. Yeah, Command Center first on the high ground. Secondly, Depot, yeah, he's good to go.
Yeah, very, very nice change in his play. Just a little bit. Like, you don't... Ideally, you never scout with an SEV versus a Zerg, although you do want to on, like, multi-spawn maps. But if you were reminded today, like, oh, it's right, they can attack with Lings, then that's a good way to go. So Hydra saw the SEV seeing him, so he just tried to maybe... this could have actually faked out reality, to be honest. He could have kept that Reaper at home, but there'd be no reason to. You know it's slow Lings. So he finds them trying to break down the rocks, and we'll just get a lot of free Ling kills.
This is interesting that this is the constellation, I guess, that Hydra's taking from it.
Mm.
It wouldn't stop a Reaper from coming across the map, but I guess it would stop Hellions running by or Marines charging forward. But doesn't get the rocks at the end of the day, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm actually really worried for Hydra's opener.
Yeah,
So.
especially considering this is possibly the last game for him, too. I mean, this was a bold risk to take, but reality will not fall for the same trick twice.
No, he will not. Now, this was without speed, so it's not as bad as it could have been for Hydra, but it's not great.
Oh, no.
Oh, no?
We're inhaling dank memes in chat right now.
Oh, God.
This got worse. It went from vaping to meme hailing.
Oh. So, this whole vaping thing, right? Like, I don't even get it.
Vape Nash! Vape Nash!
So when I went to that anime convention in Pittsburgh, just coincidentally, I was
Oh shit,
there.
there's other people in here. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, sorry.
They had an entire wing of a convention center dedicated to their sponsors, which was Vape Nation. I'm just throwing it out there.
So what I love is like really funny. This is really kicked off because H3H3 did like that stupid video and it's kind of like memed its way to popularity, right? Did they just say blaze it and lag out? Take TV, please. Your computers are blazing it right now. But what's really sad is I actually know a lot of people like that in real life. Particularly the people who live in Richmond, but that's another can of worms. But
Richmond people are the worst.
I cannot. I have nothing in my life that I am so passionate about that it becomes my life, right? So it's some small regard. No, not even StarCraft. Like in some small regards, there's like a bit of respect that like you could be so obsessed with vaping that you're like, yes, this is my life. This is what it's all about.
I have some arguments for that.
Well, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's kind of cool to see people, I don't know, come together.
Sure. I really wanted to focus on this drop, though, because I thought it might do a lot more damage, or it might die miserably to 3 queens. Like, that could have gone really poorly for either player, but instead, it goes okay for both.
Still might. The Overseer comes in late, so that one of them might just get another round of shots off, and that's a lot of drones stacked up in this oversaturated main. Oh, no.
Yeah,
Don't go off on the gas mining drones. Don't go off on the gas mining drones.
Pay attention, reality. Oh, come on. He was
So
focused on his drop and his siege tank drop. What the flip?
I guess it's kind of like Frozen Temple a little bit, where you might be able to take advantage of the fallback point here.
So my argument was going to be not for like, is vape community good or not, but it was that your passion didn't need you to be like your life dedicated to something. Because wouldn't you say you are? I mean, you spend a lot of your own money and made a lot of sacrifices.
For StarCraft?
StarCraft, yeah.
Okay, so I think Take TV is dying.
Yeah, I think so as well. But if the players don't feel it, I'm guessing they aren't.
I guess it's the difference of being obnoxious or not with what your passion is, right? Like.
Oh, okay, that's a difference, then I completely agree. Like, yeah, like weed smokers are pretty obnoxious. Anyway,
Zombie group's never tried it, guys. So cut her some slack.
I've never tried it. Why?
I mean, you just be rather pretentious for someone who's never.
No, you don't have to try to know that like a bunch of potheads are really annoying.
Actually, that's a fair point. I don't have to do cocaine to know that I do not want to be near a bunch of tweakers. Like...
I don't do bath salts, and I don't want to be on a pre-med.
Bath salts? Oh man, are we getting wild up in here?
Damn, that's what happens. DreamHack.
All right. Take TV,
Game paused.
guys. Are your PCs okay? Same stutter as before. You- I mean, I hope this isn't gonna fuck them.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the second the players start dotting is when we need to intervene. Make no mistake, guys, we fucking love Take TV. They've been nothing but good to us, and they are good caster bros. But yeah, sometimes sucky things happen. Looks like it's cleared up for now, though. We're gonna hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I mean, it could have been that PC in particular. I don't know.
Hey, if it
Scan goes
was,
down.
no problem. Fixed. Easy peasy.
Unfortunately, that scan is in the wrong location to see what's actually going on. The third base was where Hydra put his sneaky roach transition.
Yes, the Evo chamber went paired up with it. Need us to get over here to the main. The missile turret is in a bit of a live position, but it will. So I'm actually buying into this more recently, actually. Because the logic here is that the turret will cover this right side. This turret up here would normally go to the north side and cover the left side. And the mutas shouldn't be able to get in from either direction with your army in the middle. I still think it's silly to look at, and I'll take one in the middle of my mineral line every time, but...
Yeah, we've always known why he does it. It just is a case that, like, I don't think it's ever deterred a person with 8 mutas.
Savage drop in the main right now.
This might just be game ending. The roaches are coming in one at a time now, and it is during the transition, so...
Yeah, mutas aren't doing enough damage to make this worthwhile. They did kill 13 workers, which is cool, but Hydra did lose an entire mineral line himself.
Yeah, so it's not game. It did look very scary because, you know, still, like, 8 Marines with 2 medevacs is going to be pretty powerful against an upgradeless Roach army, but just enough popped out that reality didn't start to snowball. I like that reality. Yeah.
Caught you in my web.
Yeah. But it's still a case that Hydra, I don't know about this Roach transition, you know, like just in general, regardless if he took damage or not. Let's not forget that not only is that damage been done, but it was also the early pull that didn't do anything that has put Hydra like not so great. Having a supply that's decent doesn't mean very much if it's in Roaches and upgradeless Roaches. It's gonna be 1 versus 1 with 2-2 pretty far ahead. Just really not that many Roaches. Now, I don't think Reality expected this, so he doesn't really have any Marauders in here, but I mean, still the outburst DPS here for the Marines is more than enough.
The tank was getting some really nice shots there, by the way. I don't think Reality knows about the one to the north. It doesn't know about this base, but this base doesn't really matter right now. I don't think we're going to see the giant Roach flank. It would otherwise be consequential. Gonna get some shots fired, though. Push that bio back one more time. There's a weird ass guy in my driveway right now looking up at this. I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Okay, he's a crackhead. He's on bath salts. And he heard you talking about him.
Yeah, that's probably about how that went down, if I had to guess. But looking for a really good fight. I mean, Reality's actually behind in supply, but make no mistake, supply doesn't necessarily mean a lot when it's Roaches and Ravagers. It just means you've had a lot of money to spend on units that may or may not be good. One Marine does find the north base. Looks like it actually takes on the Queen. Not too bad. Drops going down with that tank. It's only 1 tank dropping, but that's so much bio pushing through. They got 1-1 on their sides. This is looking a little bit scary for Hydra with the Roaches going to white. There's nothing to protect the squishy Ravagers. This is still gonna be Reality's game, man. 4-1 as he does win the monthly finals for the Olimoleague. So 1 Terran player shows up 1 time, does his job. Yes. Is Drifkin cheering at Zerg? Does he have an unfair bias? Fuck Zerg right now, guys. But mostly and only not because I think Zerg is imba. There's just too many of them. Like, that's another big problem I think was had when I made that Twitter poll. Like, and discussions got had. I woke up to like 84 notifications this morning, guys. People were discussing this, that, and the other. I don't think that Zerg players are bad or unskilled or like a movie. It's just the fact that there are literally too many Zerg compared to the other races when it comes to all these tournaments. Like, for example, I'm not saying Hearthstone, Snoot, or Bunny are any better or worse than another, but it's a situation where you actually have 5 Snoots per 1 Hearthstone and Bunny, right? Like, it's just nice to see Terran doing Well, in one thing we cast, at least. Anyways, Hydra's still going to walk away with $200 for second place. Not too shabby, but congratulations to Reality, who will take $350 for first. So, awesome stuff. Glad to see so many people tuning in and joining us for the Olimoleague Monthly Finals. It is on a bit of an off day. I mean, the Wednesday in the middle of a week is certainly not optimal, but it's nice to see 3,000 people tuning in for what was presumably a terrible day for casting, actually.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, especially early on in a Wednesday, too. So thank you guys for joining us this morning. I hope you enjoyed the show. This is, of course, going to be the end of it. Got to give some quick shout-outs, though, to our sponsors before disappearing. So while these guys do not necessarily bring you the Olimoleague, they do help bring you BaseTradeTV and allow us to cast so bloody often. So thank you to Corsair. You can check out their links by scrolling down below. ChairsForGaming.com, ChairsForGaming.ca. These wonderful DX racers you see us and pretty much every other person on Twitch use. You can get them with a promo code BaseTradeTV. You'll save $20 on your purchase and get free shipping and handling. And then, of course, G2A. Use the code BASE. You get some free games. We're a little bit under our sales goal this month. Last month, we knocked it out of the park. We had like 202 games sold out of 150. So far, we're kind of just like trudging along, so I'm a little bit worried, but not super scared or nothing. So if you guys are thinking about buying games, whether it's Dark Souls 3, I don't know, Stardew Valley, because you still haven't tried that crack addiction yet, speaking of drug habits, by all means, make sure to check out all the deals they got on G2A.com. Anyways, that does wrap it up for us. So Zombie, any final words or messages before we go?
Follow me on Twitter at CG Gaming and on Twitch, Summergrub.
And of course, if you guys missed any of the VODs, consider subscribing to the channel. You'll get access to them here on Twitch. But if you can't wait, Nice Username's been very quick about getting them up on our YouTube, youtube.com/BaseTradeTV. Get there quick, guys, and hit that sub button. Other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you. Is it tomorrow we have Match Arena, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning then. Bye.
Bye-bye.